The old woman stirs her coffee. Her gaze is distant, fixed on the dusty plaza. Last night, gunfire rattled these quiet streets. Men in trucks, their faces unseen, sped away. Today, the official report will say nothing. Locals will claim they saw nothing, heard nothing. This is the unspoken agreement. A heavy silence blankets the village. A silence bought with fear and sometimes with favor. This scene is not unique. It repeats across remote regions of Mexico, places where the state's reach is thin, or where its presence is compromised. Here, other powers hold sway. Powerful criminal organizations. They dictate terms. What exactly is a drug cartel? It is more than just a gang. Think of it as a criminal corporation, highly organized, often with global reach. Their primary business is illicit drugs: cocaine, methamphetamine, fentanyl, heroin, marijuana. They control production, trafficking, and distribution. This is a multi-billion-dollar industry, an industry built on addiction and violence, and it fuels their immense power. These organizations are complex structures. They have leaders, often shadowy figures. They have enforcers, the sicarios. They have logistics experts, money launderers to clean their profits, and networks of informants. They operate like multinational businesses, but their currency is fear and corruption. They seek to control territory, not just for drug routes, but for total dominance. The ruthlessness of cartels is legendary. It is a deliberate strategy. Violence is not just a byproduct of their business, it is a tool of control. Public displays of brutality send clear messages to rivals, to the government and to the local population. Hangings from bridges, mass graves discovered in the desert, videos of torture and execution circulated online. These acts are designed to terrorize, to ensure obedience through sheer horror. Consider the stories that emerge from cartel-controlled zones. Journalists who dare to report on them are targeted. Mayors who refuse to cooperate are assassinated. Police officers who stand against them are hunted down. Their families are often threatened too. No one is truly safe from their reach. This pervasive fear silences dissent. It forces communities into submission, making them unwilling accomplices in their own subjugation. The psychological toll is immense. So, why do communities shield these violent groups? The most immediate answer is fear. As we have seen, cartels rule by terror. Speaking out can mean a death sentence, not just for an individual, but for their entire family. The ley del silencio, the law of silence, is strictly enforced. Witnesses disappear. Informants are brutally punished. This creates an environment where cooperation seems like the only path, the only way to ensure personal safety in a landscape devoid of reliable protection. But fear is not the only factor. There is also a complex web of dependency. In many areas, cartels are deeply embedded in the social fabric. They may have been present for generations. Cartel members are not always outsiders. They are sons, brothers, cousins, neighbors. This blurs the lines. Cartels help fill the void as providers. Where the Mexican state is absent or ineffective, cartels often step in to fill the void. This is a calculated move. It is not born out of altruism, but out of a desire to win hearts and minds, or at least to secure complicity and control. They provide what people desperately need, and in doing so, they build a form of social capital, a dangerous conditional form of support that further entrenches their power. One of the most significant ways they do this is by providing jobs. In impoverished rural areas, opportunities are scarce. Agriculture may be failing, formal employment non-existent. The cartels offer work as lookouts or halcones, as poppy or marijuana cultivators, and as low-level dealers or transporters. The pay might be better than any legal alternative. For many young men, it is a tempting if deadly path. Like and subscribe now. Sinaloa's embrace in a cartel's heartland, Part 1, Provision. The Sinaloa Cartel is a prime example of how these dynamics play out, showcasing the intricate relationship between crime and community. It's one of Mexico's oldest and most powerful cartels, originating in the rugged Sierra Madre mountains of Sinaloa state, a place where the landscape itself seems to guard its secrets. This region has a long history of smuggling and a culture of defiance against central authority, a tradition passed down through generations. The cartel, once led by figures like Joaquin El Chapo Guzman, has deeply infiltrated the local society, becoming an almost inextricable part of the social fabric. For generations, it has been a source of employment and a shadow power in the region, providing livelihoods where legitimate opportunities are scarce. In many parts of Sinaloa, especially rural areas, the cartel is not just a criminal group, it is an economic engine, driving the local economy in ways both seen and unseen. Generations have grown up with narco money. It has fueled local economies, creating a dependency that is hard to break. From farming illicit crops to working in labs processing drugs or participating in the vast logistics network, this economic dependence is profound and pervasive. It shapes allegiances and perceptions, influencing how people view the cartel and its role in their lives. The Sinaloa Cartel, like others, has understood the value of social projects, using them to gain favor and loyalty among the local population. Stories abound of El Chapo and other leaders providing assistance to local communities, building churches, paving roads, giving handouts, and creating a sense of indebtedness that binds the community to the cartel. Loyalty forged in need was the Sinaloa story. Part 2, Protection. Beyond providing jobs and basic infrastructure, the Sinaloa Cartel and others like it offer a form of protection. This protection is not just physical, but also psychological, creating a sense of security in an otherwise unstable environment. This protection is multifaceted and often deeply compromised. It includes patrolling the streets, setting up checkpoints, and ensuring that no external threats penetrate their controlled areas. But in areas where state security is weak or corrupt, it can seem like the only option available. The local police force is often underfunded, undertrained, and sometimes even in collusion with criminal elements. This is particularly true in remote regions where police presence is minimal and justice is a far-off concept, leaving communities vulnerable to various threats. In these isolated areas, the cartel's presence can be both a blessing and a curse. One aspect of this protection is against petty crime. The cartel often steps in to resolve local disputes and prevent minor crimes, acting as an unofficial law enforcement body. In areas under firm cartel control, incidents of robbery, theft, or local disputes may actually decrease. The fear of cartel retribution keeps many would-be criminals in check. The cartel enforces its own brutal form of order. Their methods are harsh and unforgiving, but they are effective in maintaining a certain level of peace. Stealing from locals or causing unnecessary trouble can attract swift and violent retribution from the cartel. This creates a climate of fear that deters many from stepping out of line. This creates a semblance of peace, a peace maintained by the ever-present threat of narco-justice, a fragile and terrifying kind of stability. The community lives in a constant state of tension, knowing that any misstep could lead to severe consequences. Cartels also claim to protect communities from rival gangs or from other external threats. They position themselves as the lesser evil, a necessary force to keep even more dangerous elements at bay. When different cartels are warring over territory, the local population becomes pawns in their bloody game. The very protection they rely on can turn into a source of danger, trapping them in a cycle of violence and fear. The devil you know was in cartel security. The concept of cartel security is a paradox, a twisted form of protection that comes with its own set of dangers. These groups are the primary drivers of violence, yet they can also impose a strict, localized order that some communities come to rely on. This is the devil you know syndrome, where the familiar brutality of a single cartel is preferred over the chaos of multiple warring factions. Communities may prefer the predictable brutality of one dominant cartel over the chaos of warring factions, or the complete lawlessness of a power vacuum. The fear of the unknown often outweighs the fear of the known. When the state fails to provide basic safety, people will seek it wherever they can find it, even from those who are also their oppressors. This creates a complex relationship between the cartel and the community. This form of security is entirely self-serving for the cartels, designed to maintain their power and control. A peaceful, controlled local environment is better for their business operations, allowing them to conduct their illegal activities with minimal disruption. It reduces unwanted attention from authorities, allows for smoother logistics in drug trafficking, and ensures a compliant local workforce. The cartels benefit from a facade of order, so the order they impose is designed to protect their interests, not necessarily the genuine well-being of the community. The community's safety is a secondary concern. It is a peace enforced at gunpoint, a fragile and volatile peace that can shatter at any moment. Furthermore, this protection can vanish in an instant if cartel leadership changes or if a rival group launches an offensive, leaving the community in turmoil once again. Breaking the cycle means making a path beyond protection. The symbiotic relationship between some communities and cartels is complex. It is born of fear, necessity, and a profound lack of alternatives. Breaking this cycle is an immense challenge. It requires more than just military force or arrests. Those are short-term measures that often fail to address the root causes, the underlying conditions that allow cartels to thrive and to command the silence, if not the loyalty, of local populations. A new approach is desperately needed. First, the state must re-establish its presence and legitimacy. This means providing real security, not just through soldiers, but through community policing, building trust between citizens and law enforcement. It means tackling corruption head-on, ensuring that police and officials serve the public, not the criminal organizations. Without this foundation of trust and safety, communities will continue to seek protection elsewhere or remain silent out of self-preservation. Second, economic opportunities must be created, especially in impoverished and marginalized regions where cartels find easy recruits. Like and subscribe for more videos on history, politics, and psychology.